Reality has its exteriors, but in every second of reality, in every moment, there's a door. There's a door, and it's an invisible door, but it's always there. And that door has a key, and you can open that door. And music is one of the ways to open that door. Music is a key. And outrageous love is a key. And you place the key of outrageous love, or the key of music, or the key of practice through meditation, or the key of studying a sacred text, or the most powerful key, the key of coming together as a band of outrageous lovers and loving each other outrageously for the sake of the evolution of love.
So here's this week's evolutionary love code. There's no love without seduction. Seduction is a first principle and first value of cosmos. Wisdom is to distinguish between holy seduction and unholy seduction. Holy seduction seduces us upwards. Unholy seduction seduces us downwards. In unholy seduction, I seduce you to violate your appropriate boundary for the sake of my greed. Holy seduction is I seduce you to transcend the boundary of your limitation, of your contraction, for the sake of your and reality's deepest need. Everyone is seduced. The question is to trust the right person to seduce you, or the right people, or music, or art, or dharma. So with that, I turn my word back to you, beloved Dr. Marc.
Thank you. Thank you. And let's put the code in the chat box. Okay? And we're going to do a kind of special kind of prayer this week, right? In a new way. We're going to take a look at a clip. Are you ready? Christina Almon, we got that clip ready. We're going to go to a scene in Italy. Okay? And I want to take a look at the relationship of Eros to pseudo-Eros and how Eros responds directly to existential risk. How do you invoke Eros? And remember, there's two parts to Eros. Right? One part of Eros is the experience that it's already good right now. The intrinsic goodness of being, the unbearable goodness of being. That's one. And it's the opposite of Milan Kundera's unbearable lightness of being. Right? It's the unbearable goodness of being. Number one. And number two, I've got a unique gift. Right? And that unique gift makes music in the unique self symphony. And this is the core of One Mountain. It's the core of the band of outrageous lovers, right? It's the core of the chavraya, right? Of the companions, again, translating from the Aramaic, right? It's the core of what Philip Wexler in a wonderful book calls the mystical society. And I want to show you, if I can, a vision of it that we looked at about a year and a half ago. And I thought about it this morning when I was thinking about One Mountain. And it captures everything. And I want to ask everyone, if you can, we're going to do this as a practice, to actually watch every face carefully. Okay, every face carefully. And then we're going to have a discussion in the chat box about what happened. Okay? And then we're going to go into prayer, and Chris is going to take us into a particular song, a particular way of making this alive. Okay? So who's ready to go to Italy? We're ready to go to Italy? Let's take a journey. Let's go to Italy. And I'm going to ask everyone, right, as we go to Italy, like, okay, don't get on your phone then, right? Hold your attention, right? Hold your attention. Place your attention in the center. Right? Don't get distracted, right? Be the master of your attention. Step inside. Your mind wanders, or we're doing a meditation here, but it's what's called an active meditation. It's not that we're going into silence, we're going into actually watching, actually seeing what's happening in front of us. We're going to Italy. We're going to meditate in Italy, but it's what Dalai Lama calls it, right? He said to me, right? He said it's an active meditation. Watch every face. Watch what happens. We're on the inside together. Band of outrageous lovers. Here we go. Italy, coming at us. Now, what just happened? Wow. What just happened? Anybody, what just happened? So I'm going to go to the chat box. Let's find each other in the chat box, right? Like, wow, right? That's what we're doing this summer. That's what the festival is this summer. When are the dates? I don't know. When are the dates, right? We'll see it in the chat box. But stay close, right? What was that? They're sitting there in a square in Italy, maybe near Firenze, right? What happens? Right? What happened? Right? So anyone in the chat box, okay? I'm going to track the chat box, right? What was that? Right? So Don, right? Music carries the words, right? Hearts opened, right? Joy, connection, allurement, symphonizing, right? Unique self symphony. Yes, but yes, that's all totally. But now we're going to practice now slowly, okay? We're going to practice now. All right? Let's go step at a time. In order to know what happened, you have to start on the outside and then go to the inside. So there's exteriors and interiors. So first, just start in the beginning. Right? Start in the beginning. What were the exteriors? How did it start? Anybody, how did it start? Just start with facts. A child. Who said? Diane, right. A child puts a piece of money. Let's reconstruct it together, right? In the chat box, right? A child, just the facts. What happened? The child, who was the child? Was it a boy or a girl? Boy or a girl? Anybody? Boy or a girl? Was it a boy or a girl in the chat box? It was a girl. About how old was she? Let's collect the moment. How old was she? She's about 5, 6, 7, 8, right? She goes up to a man. Go slow. She goes up to a man, right? The man. Describe the man to me. Describe the man, right? He was bald, right? But middle-aged. What was he wearing? Maybe at 50, 60, right? Dressed kind of classically. He was the one person and the whole place has this tuxedo. So you know that something's happening, right? She puts a little money, right, in his hat and she kind of looks and sees what's going to happen. And that little girl lives in us. That little girl is us who puts a little piece of money in the hat and wants to see what's going to happen, what's going to come out of that hat. Now, did you see who said she's curious? Right? She's curious, someone wrote. And he was already playing his instrument, right? And did you see the little twinkle? Who saw the twinkle in his eye? Anyone see it? Who saw it? Just did anyone see? There was a little light. We're gonna look at this one more time. There's like a twinkle in his eye, and it begins. And then who was the second person who joined? Anyone who saw the second person? Who was the second person that joined? Anybody? A lady? That's right. Right, a woman, right, with a cello, right, exactly, right, and she joins and she does it very quietly, right, and about how old is she? She's probably about 50, right, she joins, and then she starts playing, 40, right, okay, right, don't tell the woman I said 50, it was 40, okay, right, she joins. Now, is she wearing a tuxedo? Anybody, is she wearing a tuxedo? Right, no tuxedo there, right, she's right. Is anyone else in the whole scene wearing evening clothes that you wear to symphony? Nope. Right, everyone's wearing these very ordinary clothes. And then one person joins and then another person and then another person. And then you see people like watching. Somebody looks up, right? A young child looks up, right? An old woman looks up, right? A group of boys see like, wow, what's that? And slowly another person joins and another person looks up and they say, wow, what's this? Now, lots of people didn't quite know how to be there, so they did what people do today. When you don't know how to be there, what do? You take a picture. Right? You hold up your phone to watch it, which is actually sweet and beautiful. Not bad people, beautiful, but it's a way of not being there. Does everyone get what I mean? We think that if we didn't record it, if it doesn't appear on social media, if we can't forward it to somebody else, it didn't happen. That's the tragedy of the commodified society. We're actually never here in the fullness of the moment. We're actually asking ourselves a question, did we create a social media post? Can we forward this? We're actually never present. And a life that's not public and recorded in public, right, and doesn't get a certain amount of likes and a certain amount of attention, actually is considered to be not a life. And that's how you get to the metaverse, right, in which you live in a purely commodified reality. Does everyone get this? Okay? Like, wow. right? That's why when you travel, leave your camera behind. Does everyone get that? Actually show up in the eternity of the moment. But most people don't. Most people actually, let's go back to our square in Firenze. There we are. Everyone's there. And slowly, everybody comes together, right? And what do they experience? And Kirsten, maybe if you remember the words, right? They experience in they're in German, Schiller's words to Beethoven's symphony, Ode to Joy. Right? Ode to joy. Right? And what happens? And if anyone has the words, put them in the chat box. What happens? All of a sudden, this square is transformed into shimmering joy. Now, did anyone in the square win the lottery? Right? Did anyone solve a relationship issue happening at home? Right? Did anyone have great sex? Right? Did anyone get a promotion at work? Right? Did anyone have some problem in their life solved? Right? None of that happened. Does everyone get that? None of that happened. And yet, everyone stepped into joy. Let me ask you a question. Was there only a particular group of people that stepped into joy? Nobody. Right? Everyone. Right? Everyone, right? Stepped full into joy, right? And that's different, by the way, that's different when you actually go with a camera as a particular action where you're going to search and capture moments of joy, like Haley, Christina Amlin does. That's a different usage of the camera. I'm talking about when you're in a moment and you just automatically take up the camera, not because the camera's actually a practice in which you're actually capturing eternity, but actually it stands between you and being in the moment. It's how you use the camera. Does everyone get that? It's so beautiful, right? Ode to joy, right? We enter daughters of Elysium, which is the great mystery, right? In the Greek tradition, right? We enter drunk with fire, heavenly one, thy sanctuary, thy magic, right? It's complete magic. Right? Thy magic binds again. And your magic binds means brings us together what custom strictly divided. Does everyone see what happens in that? Right? Custom meaning what custom divided, all of the win-lose metrics, right? All of the conventions that divided everyone in the square. Everyone was locked in their own rivalrous conflict, win-lose metrics, contracted, separate self-life. And then drunk with fire, we enter again your sanctuary. The magic begins what custom divided, and all people become brothers and sisters where your gentle wing abides. Right? Wow. Whoever has succeeded in this great attempt, these are the words, to be a friend's friend. Whoever, right? This is what it's about. It's about a jubilation, right? To call his own in this world. Right? And he who has never managed it, right, should never slink weeping from this union. Meaning if you never experienced it, and that's what we're doing this summer at the festival, and that's what we do every week at One Mountain, we're actually stepping into this union. Now, what stepped them in? How did they get inside? They were seduced. It was a seduction. It was a holy seduction. That's what we're talking about here. There was a holy seduction. And imagine reality. Reality has its exteriors. But in every second of reality, in every moment, there's a door. There's a door. And it's an invisible door, but it's always there. And that door has a key. And you can open that door. And music is one of the ways to open that door. Music is a key. And outrageous love is a key. And you place the key of outrageous love, or the key of music, or the key of practice through meditation, or the key of studying a sacred text, or the most powerful key, the key of coming together as a band of outrageous lovers and loving each other outrageously for the sake of the evolution of love. You place a key in that door and you open the door and you step inside and you realize that joy was always there. You open the door and you realize that you've always been inside. That it's always been an ode to joy. that every place you've been, you needed to be. That no one's an extra on the set and no action was unnecessary. And all of eternity resides in every moment, and every human being participates in the continuity of consciousness and in immortality. And all of reality reaches for its own wholeness in every second. And that is the true nature of what is. And that we don't need to look for the meaning of life, because there's nothing to search for. It's right here and available right now in its utter fullness for its own sake. And that all men and women are brothers and sisters. Was anyone excluded from that circle? Right? I ask you, my friends, was anyone excluded from that circle? No one. Did anyone in that circle win anything in the win-lose metrics? Anyone? Was there one thing won in the rivalrous conflict governed by win-lose metrics in that square in Firenze or wherever it was? Nothing. And yet everyone opened the door and stepped into the infinity of intimacy, the field of joy. And that is what we're here together to do. We're here together as a band of outrageous lovers. We're coming together this summer at the festival, right, to enact a story of value, which democratizes enlightenment, which invites every person to take up their instrument in the unique self symphony. And you might think in that square that the only people playing their instrument were the people playing. But the people playing, right, they were actually infused with love, blown open with love by everybody around them. And each person who opened their heart made the music more clean and more pure and more wonderful. Can you imagine? Could they have done that piece of music in a basement someplace by themselves? No, they couldn't have done it the same way. They could have played the music. But this piece of music, this moment, this joy needed every single person, every child. Did you see that child who was like on the pole? Did you see that guy, that older guy who was kind of unshaven? Who saw him? Who said, wow, right? And then everyone was weeping, right? Schiller, everyone was weeping from this union. Tears of joy, weeping from this union. We need to create that symphony in every city, in every town, right? In every language. But we can't just do it through Beethoven's Ode to Joy. We have to write the story of value that creates that joy, which is the story of unique self, which is the story of realizing that I am a unique expression of the Eros, of the evolutionary impulse that lives in me, as me, and through me, and that my instrument, playing with other instruments in a planetary awakening and love and unique self symphony, and that my transformation transforms the whole thing. There's no evening clothes. Ordinary people, each one a superhero, each one gorgeous beyond imagination. Wow. And then at that moment, every single person, right, in that audience could look at each other and say, and know the truth of the following. How could anyone ever tell you that you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you that you are less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that our loving band of outrageous lovers, that our loving is a miracle, and how deeply we're connected to each other's souls? That's prayer. Sometimes prayer is when I ask for everything. And we need to do that. We need to turn to the infinity of intimacy and ask for everything. But there's another kind of prayer, which is called in the interior sciences, Va'ani Tfilah, I am prayer. I just become prayer myself. I become prayer myself when I'm playing my instrument in the unique self symphony. I'm giving my gift. And I'm in the unbearable goodness of being in this very moment. Okay? And so I want to ask everyone, I'm going to turn to Krista, who's going to actually give us the song, and then after, when she's finished, she's going to take us inside. But this is our prayer, right? And I'm going to ask everyone, if you're up for it, if you can, if you're willing, to weep from this union and say, right, and it's really simple, and say, right, it all depends on me. It's a big deal. That's not narcissism. It's knowing that you have a unique instrument in the unique self symphony, that you and I together are Homo Amor, that there's no guru. Right? There could be teachers. I need a job. But the ultimate teacher is the unique self symphony. It's all of us together. Right? And knowing that my transformation is the transformation of the whole. So our symbol for that today is it all depends on me. So if you can feel it, it all depends on me. And then, next sentence, it all depends on you. That's what it means. It all depends on me. It all depends on you. Krista, as you sing, whoever's willing to write that in the chat box, if you can feel it, blow it away. It all depends on me. It all depends on you. Take us inside.
So as we're singing together, I want to invite us to be that curious girl. And as I'm singing, we will be inviting each and every one of us to slowly, slowly, like that symphony, come on the screen here. So if you want, you can turn on your camera and put us all on gallery view so we can feel each other, so we can see each other. How could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your love is just a miracle? And how deeply we are connecting in our soul. How could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? And how deeply we are connected in our soul. How could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your love is just a miracle? And how deeply we are connected in our soul. How could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? And how deeply we are connected to our soul. And how deeply you are connected to my soul. And how deeply we are connected in our soul.